it's annoying, right? I spend hours and hours in the forest trying to find mushrooms, and you know, the only thing I found is this poison mushrooms. But when my wife walks into the forest, it's like walking into a, you know, a grocery store or just picking the mushrooms from an option list. Ugh, irritating. Johan, we are two lucky bastards.
Yes, we are.
I got allocation for a Spyder.
And I got a GT4.
I am so truly happy that two good friends as us has the opportunity to drive them head to head.
Amazing.
Amazing. And let's talk about the allocations first, right? So everybody's on the internet said it's not a limited run, right? But the GT3, the 991.2, was not a limited as well. And the production time is equal to the one that you will find on GT4 Spyder. So in fact, the numbers are as limited as a GT3. And that's the problem with the discussion. This is very important to understand, that the limitations lays on the productivity at the factory. And the number of people that would like to purchase a GT4 Spyder, whatever, GT car, doesn't matter, is much larger than the capacity in the factory. So that's the problem with the GT range, that even though they have over the year extended, they produced much more GT3 991.2 versus the GT3 991.1. It is still not equal to the number of customers. So that's the problem. So therefore, I am so privileged and happy that both you and I have got an allocation.
And one of the first ones as well.
We actually have that. So 2019, there will be two Spyders to Stockholm and 4 GT4s. And that's the case. Double amount of GT4s.
Happy.
I know, I'm happy too. But if we feelings,
but are you also a bit scared?
I am.
How's that?
Well, you know, first of all, if my GT3 wouldn't have break down, that would still be parked in my garage. I'm quite sure about that. I did have problems not specing. Well, guys, you know the story. If you haven't seen my GT3 story, go back to my earlier videos and catch up. But, you know, I ended up, you know, with the 992, right? And then I have purchased a Cayman T, and the Cayman T is such a beauty. It's a proper driver's car, and with the chassis I've installed, you have driven it yourself.
Amazing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think
what kind of chassis is it?
It is a Lind Racing Road and Track, and it's well. Do you think the GT4? You haven't driven it, obviously. Do you think that will be much better than my Cayman T with the Lind chassis?
I wish it will be, but I don't know it. It's probably not going to be, but it's we'll see. The problem is we haven't driven the cars, of course.
That is the problem.
You've seen it live, and I haven't.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling a bit about, you know, specification and everything like that. But the scare for me is that, am I going to miss the Carrera T?
Good one.
Yeah.
I understand, because many viewers, well, you guys have actually emailed me saying I own a Carrera T and I get an allocation for a GT4. Should I jump to the GT4? I think that's the hardest decision ever.
Am I gonna miss the turbo?
Ooh, good one.
You know, I wasn't pro turbo before.
No, I was just going to say that.
But now I'm like, oh my God, I love it. You know, but now, of course, naturally aspirated 420
horsepower.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah.
It is, but you know, when I drive my Cayman T and you have that just below 3,000, you just rev it, not over 4,000, and you just change gear. Beautiful.
Yeah.
you have that instant torque with a flat Newton meter curve. It's speaking of turbo lag. Now you have driven your T4. What do you think about the turbo lag? Let's clear that off the table.
I wouldn't say that there's no turbo lag, because there is. But you can live with it. It's the best turbo car I have ever driven. So I don't know. It's let's end the discussion of turbos. Turbo's going to be there in Porsches from now on, except for the special ones probably, and then it's probably going to go to turbo, electric, and everything like that. But I don't think we missed the 6-cylinder non-turbo.
I am the same for me.
Saying that now that we're going to purchase one.
Exactly. That's the stupidity, isn't it? Because
let's drive it, and then we can come back to this.
We need to come back to this, and we need to because the way the turbo are programmed today with the flat torque curves, it kind of gives you that instant response if you are on top of.
Yeah, I know that you say that, but I still miss that. Just flipping a bit on the gas and have instant power.
But if you are there, then I'm going to tell you why. Because I think when I drove the 993, what the owner calls an R, if you haven't seen that video, I have driven a 993 with a Carrera Cup engine in, and that's throttle response. That is it's just too much.
It goes before you even know it.
It is electrified. That was
yeah.
actually quite fun with the Taycan introduced and everything. But it is that's throttle response. And if I measure that throttle response to a normal aspirated engine like my GT3 that I own, and then towards the turbo engine in my 992 and Carrera T.
Yeah. And I wonder, will I miss the sound?
Oof.
Because the sound in my car, oh my God.
Let's clear that out. It has sound composers just like the 992 and the Cayman T, but the 991.2 versus the 992.1, I select the 991.2 any day in a week. Yeah. With that said, we all know that some parts of the world does not have the particulate filter in the 992, but it is so. When you start up the engine and when I drive behind you.
And when you let off the throttle a bit and it goes. Then you think that you're a bit younger than you are.
That we feel every day.
Are you childish then when you love that sound?
I think we are quite childish, to be honest. But we are childish. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of feelings towards the Spyder GT4, even though we are extremely lucky gentlemen with allocations and.
I'm longing for next spring.
Yes, because we're gonna get our cars during the winter, so we're gonna put them head to head in the spring.
Yeah.
So the cars will not be driven in 1 meter until spring. That's the. Well, I was this close to say perk, but it's not a perk living in Sweden. And
we actually never had equal cars, you and me.
No, we haven't.
That's going to be interesting.
That's going to be
of course, yours is a
chopped off roof.
but this, same engine, same chassis and everything like that. So that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be really interesting.
And I hope that we can switch cars a bit.
We are definitely. We're gonna do, and you're gonna be in the video. So guys, get acquainted to Johan because we're gonna really put that in. Johan is a spectacular driver. He has performed in Michelin Slalom Cup, and I pay a lot of respect towards his ability to drive a vehicle. I must also say one thing more about our cars, and that is why do you think they will, according to all the information that we receive, produce more GT4 than the Spyder?
I have no idea actually, because of course I think that people want to track their GT4s, and I think there's a lot of people that want to do that. But I think they miscalculated a bit. I think there's going to be more people now this time that want to go for the Spyder actually.
I think so as well.
So that's going to be a more unique car than the GT4, I think. It's going to be less Spyders out there, and there's going to be more people wanting it, I think.
I think so as well, because the reason that many didn't go for the Spyder last time was that, well, it was a Boxster with another engine. Now it's a proper GT car. Well, let's clear that out of the table as well. This car is not born in Flacht. Okay, so this is a Weissach project. It's led by the 718 team. The engine is not made by Porsche Motorsport. It's manufactured and designed by the 718 team. What Porsche Motorsport has been focusing on is the aerodynamics and the chassis. And we're going to come back to the chassis, right? Several times. So should we spec our cars?
Let's do it.
Colors.
Yeah.
So is there any colors that you will not spec a GT4 in?
I don't know. It's you know, they launched the GT4 in the yellow, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not super fan of yellow cars.
So you're like a Nick Murray guy.
Yeah, I think I was something like that. Yeah.
I have problems with the Gentile blue on the GT4. Let me elaborate that a bit, because the GT4 is a track-focused car, right? And the Gentile blue are for me a bit more elegant and gentleman's elegant racing color, right? And actually it's purple. It's purple in certain angles and certain lights. So for me, no, I'm definitely never in my life on a GT4. That's rubbish. But
on a Spyder.
On a Spyder, that's a different type of GT car. Let me give you another example. You know, when I talked to you, I said I would go for a Miami blue any day in a week when it comes to the GT4. I've said it 100. It's easy for me to select the color. But I could, on the same breath, I could never ever option out a Spyder with a Miami blue.
And how come?
Because Miami blue has its heritage from IROC, right? It's International Race of Champions. That's where the color was born, gathering all the champions from all over the world, making sure which is the fastest gentleman on earth. And that's where we have the lava orange, Miami blue, etc. That has so much,
it's track focused.
Racing history, and on the GT4, boom, Miami blue any day in the week. But the Spyder is more heritage towards, the big backpack that you have on Porsche history, leaning back to the 550. So for me, it leans down to two colors. It's GT Silver, classic, right? So much heritage, is racing, it has everything. And Jerry Seinfeld, he has a blue 550 Spyder. I have no clue which blue that is from the picture I have viewed.
And that's not a color that's possible to choose.
No, exactly. That's I think it is Mexico blue, but it's not for an option. If you guys know exactly which color it is on Jerry Seinfeld's 550, then please write that on the comments below.
Because then you're going to go paint the sample.
Yes. Would you pay 10,000?
Never.
10,000 euros for or whatever it costs.
I mean, not on a GT4 at least.
But not on any car.
Maybe on a Spyder. No,
nah,
come on, Janko, let's do it.
I mean, for those money, a color.
Yeah.
A color. I'm buying the car to drive it, not to park it or.
No. And it's so easy to change the color without changing the color.
Yeah, if that is the case, wrap it then. I'm not sure, or whatever, but I'm not sure if I'm linearized with paint to sample. Perhaps I will do that one day because I'm getting old and need to be younger and need an acid green car to show off.
Probably.
But no, I'm not sure.
No.
So, which colors would you select from on your GT4?
I'm a bit boring, so I would probably stick with the white or the black.
White and black.
I had two colors on Porsches before, and one is black and one is white.
Yeah, you are sincerely
Should I put in
boring.
a third color?
No. You are so boring, Johan.
No, but I think I love the white color, so it's probably I'm gonna lean towards white. I think it brings out the shapes and everything like that. I know that you have a problem with the rear wing.
Yeah.
When you saw it live. you think it's a bit on the small side? Or was it the opposite?
No, I actually called Johan from Goodwood Festival Speed, and I said, if you increase the wing size with 1 millimeters, that will go straight towards the Fast and Furious and a teenager's car. Or
And that's not us, huh?
Well, we are teenagers in our heart at least, but never in a car. So it is. I think the black could go quite look good on a GT4, even though I would go, as I say, with the Miami Low and the gold wheels. That could actually be something.
Yeah.
But you never clean your car, Johan.
It happens.
It happens.
Of course, I clean it. It's never dirt, but I don't clean it every second day like you do. But white, there's one, specific time of the day when the white is, when you understand why you chosen white, and that's
the dawn.
Yeah.
I agree
It
with
goes
you.
Pop.
It pops like popcorn.
Yeah.
If you park, remember I had the 992 convertible a couple of weeks, and we went for a Stockholm drive. Remember, and we parked the car in the dawn, white with a red top. That was amazing.
And also when you go with white, you had your Cayman T, yeah?
Cayman T
it's a white one.
It's white.
And you can do something with the color as well.
Yes.
If you want to add some.
The livery I have done on my car is, towards the Porsche Motorsport. I agree, you have a lot of options.
So I think I'm going to stick with white this time again.
You stick with white.
And you're going to go for the
GT Silver. Gentlemen, I'm going to go with the Heritage. I'm going to go with GT Silver. But I'm also going to do a collab with AutoShield. So bear with me. So if you go to Porsche Museum in Stuttgart, as I had, and look at these really, really old cars, they are more aluminium lookish kind of cars. They are not as glossy as GT Silvers are today. So my thought is to go with Expel Stealth, it's called, and AutoShield is a company, in my opinion, the best in Sweden to put the PPF, and we're gonna put
fully wrap it.
Fully wrap it in stealth to, get a more, get rid of that glossy look of it, but still have that metallic going through, getting more aluminium look of it. And I think it's gonna look extremely good, and I'm gonna connect more towards the old 550s.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Looking forward to see it.
Stay tuned to my channel, subscribe. Why do you think people don't subscribe to my channel? Millions of minutes broadcast every month, but nobody subscribes.
I don't know.
It's free of charge. The only thing that you do, you log into YouTube, you push that subscribe button. It only, what it does, it actually will just notify you when I publish a video. I don't know.
So people do as I'm gonna do now, because I'm not subscribed yet.
No, you're my friend, so why should you?
Please subscribe.
Let's move forward.
Yeah.
Not many wheels to select from, Johan.
There's only one, huh?
One?
Yeah.
What is the most common topic that you and I have had for years?
Regarding Porsches? Okay. I think it's the lack of interesting wheels, isn't it?
If we look at Porsche history wheel design, it's not an impressive act, is it?
How many wheels do we like?
Well, if you take the entire Porsche history in consideration, I think we can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
Someone needs to do something. Porsche, if you're listening, just fire everybody working with wheel design, and then get some proper designers on board.
You have the GT3.
Yeah, that's okay. We have the Fuchs wheels.
Wheel for the older cars.
Yeah, I think we have on the 996 Gen 2, we had some 5-spoke light Carrera wheels. I think they were quite good.
And I like mine on the Carrera C, but
that's because they're black.
Yeah, so you don't see them. What else?
You see, we can hardly figure out 5 wheel designs.
If someone else can find it out, just put them on the
Yeah, all the wheel design that you will die for, that Porsche has actually done, write them in the comments below, and we will, discuss it in the comments. But you and I are not impressed.
I mean, the GT4 wheels, they're not bad, are they?
No, and they're not bad.
No, and they come in one style. The only thing that I think is a bit bad with that is, do you know what?
No? Ooh, I know.
Say
295.
Yeah.
I'm currently running 305s on. Is that a limitation that I have actually put on the vehicle not to compete with the 911?
I don't know, or maybe they think that they won't fit 305s, but you can fit them on the KMT, yeah?
I fit them with the 5mm spacers. I fit 305s in the back.
Or maybe there's something making it not fit 305s. We haven't seen. We
haven't seen it, but the balance of my car with 305s, the grip that I have, I mean, goes beyond, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why Porsche is doing this. Perhaps it has to do with. Do you know what I think it is? I think it is also connected. One, to not compete towards 911, but also because the amount of space that I have left, well, there are none to nothing. No. So I think you have a limitation in productions where you need to have
some
space,
margins
to and then I think if you take the 305s, those margins will not approve, right?
But what do we miss about the wheels on the GT4 and the Spyder? I mean, there's some colors.
There are some colors, just like black, some grayish, and the gold and silver.
Gold, silver.
Yeah.
But we talked about it before, you and I before, that we would like to have probably the option to option out not only the rims, but probably the
tires.
The tires.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, I would like also to take in Michelin Track Connect. The way that Michelin Track Connect has helped me as a driver with my KMT goes beyond, and not having as a premium brand and drive focus as the GT4 is and the Spyder, not having the option to select the Michelin Track Connect. And when I met Andreas Preuninger and Dr. Frank Steffen at Goodwood, I told them that I would appreciate if Michelin Track Connect could be an option for us when we specify the vehicles, because that's how good it is. And it has actually helped me more than Porsche to improve my driving this year, and it's the biggest thing this year for me. But speaking of wheel design also, if you go on internet looking and searching for wheels to your car, where do you end up?
There's a couple of them, but you end up on the HRE.
You do, a lot, me too, and it's like, wow, some really good looking wheels, and they have been for 20, 30 years in production. They have, been there forever. But then you see the price and you're like, ooh, that's expensive, right? Really expensive.
Yeah.
But let me tell you that, guys, I'm going to come back to that topic, because you see the OZ wheel that I have beside of me are, at least what we think, a light wheel. Yeah. But I have figured out that the OZ Ligera wheels are heavy. So when it comes to wheel design, we are okay with the GT4. So the only questions left now is, which color did you select?
I took the standard.
And that's the standard too.
And on the GT4 it's a bit of a greyish one, isn't it? And on the Spyder it's silver?
It's silver.
I think.
For me it was like, so many colors all the time, so silver is quite rare. So I figured I go with the silver.
And I went from black to grey, because I don't wash my car.
You don't wash your car. So both are, ladies and gentlemen, two extremely boring guys selecting standard.
Yep.
Seats and interior.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Why do we have a list of seats? Or could you explain that for me?
Is this the left and the right seat, or?
Good question, because you should be able to remove the passenger seats on the GT4.
Yeah.
That's the only option you should have.
And the standard seat, what do we think about that?
Well, for me, I know it's the same here, story here. It's, why is that it should only be a 918 bucket seat?
Yeah.
You have daily driving your Carrera T for a month, and you have went down to Austria.
Yeah. No problem at all.
So even with
I think these ones are better than the standard seats.
I agreed. I have been daily driving my Cayman T. It has 918 bucket seats. I jump in and out. It's, you know.
Of course, you don't jump in and out as easily.
That's because you don't train enough.
Maybe it's because I'm taller than...
No. That cooks down to muscles, Johan.
Is it? Oh
the
my God.
taller you are, more muscles you need. So go train.
Okay.
I think what's more important is why Porsche actually has option and a two-way electrical seat as standard. And I actually on the Spyder could choose from the buckets, the regular
How come?
buckets.
Because they're foldable.
Because
And you need to get in behind to do
I don't know
so many things. Yeah.
on a Spyder. What are you doing behind the seats? I have no clue. So what we're saying is that if you don't select the 918 bucket seats, what should you do then?
Select another car.
Select another car. The best thing I ever heard you on. If you for some reason are tapping any options except for the 918 bucket seats, select another vehicle.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
End of story. Moving to interior, leather or not.
For me, the GT4, not. No.
Stay focused, right?
Yeah.
Driver's focus does not include leather. It doesn't matter.
Put the money somewhere else.
Well, not just the money, the weight or whatever. It doesn't matter if the leather weighs 50 grams or 10 grams.
I don't think you're going to look at the deviated stitching on the track and say,
oh yeah, I'm looking at coming into the corner. Whoa, look at that deviated stitching. No. For me, that's just create a lot of insecureness, meaning that, I want to have it a luxury car, but then again, wrong car, right?
Yeah.
Wrong car. Have the GT4 focused.
But in another way, on the Spyder,
that's a totally
maybe not a track car.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The Spyder is to be covering more areas.
Yeah.
That's a car when you go on track day, but also take your wife or lover or whatever out for a drive, right? And then that's a different story.
And of course, the interior will be shown as much.
Exactly.
Since you're going to drive with the roof off all the time.
Exactly. The roof is only to be put
or down.
Exactly. The roof is on when you park the car and down when you drive it. So again, if you're a type of person that drives with a convertible, we see people driving all the time with a top on. Ridiculous. Top down. Basta. Totally different story. And we have the classic package also on the Spyder. So perhaps if you are tempted to option leather on the GT4, perhaps they should consider the Spyder.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good conclusion, isn't it?
If they can get one.
Yeah, exactly. Spyder, it is for leather. And the classic package, what do we think about that? Bordeaux red in quantities?
I don't know. I mean, for someone it's going to be okay. I wouldn't choose it.
I didn't either. No, I didn't, because that were too much Bordeaux. If they had stick with the top of the interior black, I think I would have selected it.
But it's red as well.
That's red. It's red everywhere. And when you have, I drove the 997.2 and it had Bordeaux interior. And what happens is that the reflection of the instrument cluster or the cover of the
windscreen.
Yeah, exactly. That will reflect in the windscreen. So for me, no, that will just interfere my driving. So not for me. I love it as a concept though, because it really flirts with the earlier 550 Spyder. And I know that you viewers are many comments you have written that, oh, go with the GT Silver and the classic package, and on the paper it kind of matches really good. Yeah, exactly. But then in the real time with your own money, with your own driving, no. But it is not only the pre-selected stitching you can choose from, red, silver and yellow. You have even more options when it comes to I was actually on the first specification when we placed the order. We were to just throw in a specification. I went for cognac stitching to get some more luxurious feel, etc. But in the end of the day, I didn't want to end up with the various of colors in my spec, so I ended with deviated stitching. Not easy for me. I was, we talked about that a lot, if I should get rid of the deviated stitching, because we have had that for so long now. But I ended up with the silver deviated stitching, black interior. Call me boring, you're welcome. But I just want 2 colors on my car, black and silver.
Exterior.
A lot of options, if you ask me. Everything from door handles to logotypes. I think it looks quite good stock.
It does.
It really does. I do want a limited chrome on my car. Remember, I want silver and black. So I definitely went for the Porsche logo in satin black. Did you select anything from this list?
I think I went for the same. Actually.
You did?
Yeah.
And if you look then towards, we have, there are, for me, I have the roll bar behind the seats could be painted, but when I option that up, I kind of destroy the Spyder lines. So I thought, I want to, cut them away, but then again, I don't want to die. So I really need them to be as not visible as possible. So I didn't go for anything. And door handles, I'm not sure. Did you see my aluminium look?
Yeah, I did.
What's your thought?
I mean, I don't know why you choose it. I mean,
no, and
I think the plastic one looks better.
And the nozzles for the headlight cleaning, would you paint them?
Depends on. I don't have them, I think.
Yeah, well, let's move forward when we're gonna debate the lights. But if you have selected and if you have the nozzles, would you have them in black?
I didn't select it on the Carrera T because I thought they were black when I ordered, but they came chrome.
They did.
So I had to change them.
They looked awful.
Yeah.
And you change them to black.
Yeah.
And I think black is working with that. You can paint them.
You could paint them as well, but I don't like the look of that anyway. But we're gonna get to that later on.
Anyway, let's leave exterior because we didn't get much. We didn't.
No.
What do we think about exterior? Leave it.
Yeah.
We wanted the
standard
black.
is okay.
Standard is okay. We went for black Porsche logo.
Yeah.
Let's move forward in life.
Yeah.
I need to address the chassis because you have driven my Cayman T.
Yes.
It is equipped with the EVRY Racing Road and Track. So the question is, will the GT4 and Spyder reach the level where my Cayman T is today?
We can only hope.
We sincerely hope that because, ladies and gentlemen, the performance I have with my Cayman T and the EVRY Racing Road and Track are equal to my GT3 when it comes to handling.
Yeah.
And you have driven it and it's... Why haven't we equipped our car with this before?
I don't know.
Lacking of knowledge, that's what
probably.
it is. And I'm so... Why couldn't Swedish culture be more like, well, look at us, more bragging? Because then everybody would know the spectacular...
Every car in Sweden would have it.
Exactly. But we're so modest.
Yeah.
Stupid Swedish. Anyway, we sincerely hope that the GT4 and Spyder will reach the level. But to be honest, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. 6-speed manual gearbox.
Yeah, lovely.
Only option.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. Do you want me to speculate?
Do.
Okay, and then see if you follow me. Because remember, if you haven't reviewed my video when me and Andreas Mau went up to the north of Sweden and saw all these prototype cars, we saw six naturally aspirated flat six engine in a standard Boxster in Arvidsjaur, right? And my speculation with PDK, so to speak. So my speculation is that they will do a touring model with the PDK. You know, GT3, the touring model only had manual. They will do reversed. So the touring will only have the PDK, and that's why I say there will be a PDK. But I reckon that it will be, you know, standard box to Cayman with naturally aspirated flat seats with PDK, perhaps with less horsepower than the GT4 Spyder, in order to protect their 911s.
So not on the GT4 then?
Not on the GT4. That's only speculation. I have no confirmation from Porsche, but that's just my speculation. But if that happens, remember where you heard it first. Ooh, that's a lot of rubbish. I was totally wrong in my speculations when this was recorded. So here it is. The PDK will arrive to the GT4 end 2020. The GT4 RS will, I believe, in Q2 2021 be released. And before that, we will definitely have the 992 GT3 for sale. Oof. Why do you think people are afraid of the 6-speed manual? Because that's... Well, if you look at the sales statistics, the only country I heard on the GT3 where it was sold most manual in comparison on how many cars there was US actually.
Interesting.
Very interesting. In Europe, only a few cars was with manual gearbox of the GT3. Anyway, would you tick the PDK if it was a free option on your GT4? Yes or no?
No.
No, for me either. Continue. Brakes.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah. Standard brakes. So should we start to talk about brake performance? Do you think these will be good enough?
Of course.
I agree.
I don't think I need more.
I don't need either. I haven't driven a GT Porsche car with the standard brakes and said, you know, I need to upgrade my brakes. It has never happened. But it is 9,000 euros.
It's a lot of money. I did not option that.
So you're why not?
No, it's a driver's car.
Exactly.
No, I think that this will be enough for me. And I think that this one will be a bit scary on the, you know, so to say, second-hand market.
Why?
Yeah, because I think that people are a bit afraid of that, because of course they cost 9,000 now.
Yeah.
But then the service cost on them and so on will scare away some people, at least I think.
But it will save a lot of kilos,
yeah,
more than 17 kilos.
Yeah.
But if you are heading for a driver-focused option, I don't understand why you didn't.
Nah. And I think that track days, I think this one is actually better than that.
Why?
I think that these will wear out quicker.
No.
Yeah.
You're not having...
If I would have a Spyder, I would probably put that one on.
Why?
Yeah. Because you're not going to track it, yeah?
No. Listen here. The problem that has been with the PCCB, well, actually still is if when that goes for the standard brakes also, you need to cool down the brakes properly when you have done some track day, and that's the only problem.
And I think that is the scary thing about people that's going to buy it second hand.
But it is so much weight. Remember my Cayman, it was only a few kilos, right? So there were no meaningful selecting this. But in this case, this is so much weight saving. Anyway, you did go for the red one, right?
No, the black ones.
Yeah, that's another thing that let's hold that for a second. I did not either go with the PCCB brakes, and I'm going to explain why. Because if I pay 9,000 euros for saving the weight, because that's what you do, we both agree on that the standard brakes are good enough, then I need to protect my investment. I cannot take the PCCB brake and then add leather. It doesn't matter if it's just 400, 800 grams. It is about being focused. Can you understand what I mean? So for me, that it doesn't mix. It kind of makes me sick when I think about me or any other person option out the PCCB brakes and not protect their investment. So that's a big downside for me.
Yeah, but the biggest reasons for me as well is the 9000 actually.
Yeah, we are cheap, both of us.
Yeah, we're cheap. It's like almost like 10% of the car, you know.
It is actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we are cheap bastards.
Yeah.
So for that, you know, you should get to proper YouTubers that have unlimited access to money. We don't, but nevertheless, if you invest in the PCCB brakes, then protect your investment. It looks silly.
Yeah.
Colors again.
I choose the black red ones. So to say.
Black standard.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Remember, only two colors on my color,
Yeah.
silver and black. Don't want red ones. Black it is. Finally, we have that option.
Yeah.
It took some time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Ridiculous to have color because the PCCB for me it's only three colors. It could go with Miami blue, black and yellow, obviously. Yeah. And the red ones, Gentile blue and red calipers. You know, that causes me to puke.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're done.
No, actually not, because we have one different choice of options.
You mean that your car is not properly fitted in standard?
I don't know. Sport Chrono. Why is that standard on your car?
I mean, it's extremely interesting question, isn't it? Because GT4 is more track day focused.
What happened there, Porsche? Did they just add it to the wrong spec sheet, or?
I have no clue, because I would understand it on a Spyder way.
Not have it.
Exactly, but Sport Chrono is standard on the Spyder and extra option.
I have no idea why. Maybe someone has the explanation for that, but I don't know, and I cannot understand why actually.
Anyway, did you tick it?
I ticked it, yeah.
I don't have to tick it.
Yeah, you cannot untick it either.
You cannot untick it either. So could we just last up thoughts about Sport Chrono? Are we done with the Sport Chrono watch? Do you think that looks good, or would you like to have removed it but still have the functions?
Actually, I don't really see it either. It's just there. I don't notice it while driving. I hardly never look at it.
I think actually I would like to
remove it.
Remove it. You know, get a cleaner dashboard.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's a difference in yours and mine as well. Yours is chrome.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, let's take that topic. So, what changes do we have? We have the Sport Chrono.
Yeah.
Chrome on mine. Yours black, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the steering wheel. The center or the details in the steering wheel are chrome on the Spyder and black on the GT4. That's it. Anything more?
No, I think it's this.
Rev counter.
Yeah, rev counter.
Rev counter is grey on the GT4 and black on the Spyder. So neither car are good, right?
No.
So we would like to have the black steering wheel, the black Sport Chrono watch, and the black instrument cluster. Why do they mix this up?
I don't know.
I contacted Porsche and said I would like to have the GT4 Sport Chrono watch and the black steering wheel, and they rejected it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Crazy.
Anyway, let's move further. Remember, PCSB brakes.
Or these ones.
No,
well.
Yeah. Get if your GT4 must have Spyder, not get weight focused on the GT4. Don't follow this. Lightning. So let's set the prerequisites for Sweden, Johan.
Yeah, in Sweden during summer, where we normally drive our cars, it's actually almost light all day around.
24 hours?
Yeah, 24 hours. So, I mean, we don't need the extra high performance lights and everything like that. I think it's more or less just, it comes to looks of it, you know?
Yeah, it should actually, it should have said design lights.
Yeah.
Design with headlights or something like that. Nevertheless, we do have some thoughts about it.
Yeah.
So what did you go for?
I went for the standard ones.
Why?
Because I think it looks, it looks a bit more racy, I think.
I kind of agree
because the
with you.
race car has them, and then of course I don't like the R2D2 in front of them.
So let's just clear out that's internal when we
Yeah.
talk. R2D2 is the nozzles for
Yeah,
cleaning
yeah.
the headlights.
Yeah.
So there are a mini R2D2 sticking out. That's what we call
Yeah.
it in a way.
If I would have them, I would paint them like that.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be a good option.
So I went for the standard ones, and since I went for the heavier brakes,
Exactly.
I thought I could save some weight there.
Again, you're absolutely right because if you take a light option, you will add about 3 kilos,
Yeah.
right? And if you have done the right thing on the GT4, getting the car 100% focused, saving the 17 plus kilos, then protect your investment by keep the standard lights.
And I did the opposite around, but
Yeah,
I'm protecting the big reds.
long live the big reds.
No, but and I know you're gonna say that they don't have the 4 dots and everything like
Exactly.
that, and it's chrome and everything. But I think it looks good. It looks racy.
My Cayman T is focused, unless your car with the big reds.
yeah.
But I think I missed the 4 dots.
No, but I don't think I'm not gonna see the 4 dots while I'm driving.
Yeah, you're
Will I?
absolutely right. But I was not, just to clear out, when I optioned out my Cayman T, I was not aware of, or I have missed, didn't read enough that I will lose the 4 dots with a standard. But I agree with you. If I was going for a GT4, I would go with the standard, to get the car focused, 100%. Spyder, on the other hand, we're back to the
Now it's a
elegant
question
gentleman
of
racer.
design, yeah.
It's a question of design, and I think we agree on this. But the PDLS Plus is the most beautiful.
Yeah.
No question.
For sure.
I went for all in, so to speak.
Yeah.
PDLS Plus. Remember, I don't need them because it's going to be. That's the silliest. I buy a lot of technology.
So
that
you're just
I will
gonna
not-
use the 4 dots on them.
Exactly.
Nothing else.
So I just spent $2,000 on 4 dots and a good look. The technology is useless since it's no darkness in Sweden when I'm going to drive it, so ridiculous. And with that, it comes the kind of tuned gray,
The
tuned
grayish thing on the
gray thing on
windscreen.
top on the
Yeah.
windscreen. But you are going to go for stickers.
Yeah. So that's also the reason why I went for the standard, because I don't think I can have a sticker on if I have that one.
That's correct.
Yeah.
If you select an LED, you will not be able, as I've done on my Cayman T. Yeah, look at this picture. You can see that I have a proper Cayman T logo.
Yeah.
And can I add one more thing? I've been driven that a lot, and it is so beautiful, but it really protects me from the sun. I use the sun protective
The visor,
shield
yeah.
a lot less with that. So recommendation, go ahead.
Yeah.
Light design package, again.
Why?
I'm not sure because we're not having any dark in Sweden. The mirrors, no, we don't have any interference with headlights behind us. No. So electrified folding mirrors.
Yeah. So this is
Give me a
only
break.
a design feature in Sweden.
This is design feature. We don't need them at all.
No.
So let's move forward.
Yep.
Cruise control. Did you select it?
I did.
Me too. Why?
Good question. I think you are the one that says
Ticket.
must have it.
For me, that should.
I
be
don't
standard.
use it that much.
You don't?
No.
So you're the one that everybody's braking for because you're not able to keep you in constant speed.
No.
You're causing all the congestion in
of
Stockholm.
course. No, but it's I use it sometimes, but it's not. I don't think it's a must. But nice to have. And it's an option as well that it doesn't cost too much to add to the car if you don't have it.
You can actually add it afterwards as well, but
That's one of the cheapest things to add to a car, I think.
I agree.
If you don't have it.
Anyway, I think for me it's about my driving license. I think I said it when I option up my Cayman T. it is too easy to speed without it. So assistance system, park assist, rear and park assist with rear camera.
I would like to have only the rear camera, no park assist. Just a picture showing me how close I am to the object back there. The problem with these two is that you need to have then the
PCM.
Yeah.
Here we are. And since you are throwing all the weight to your calipers, perhaps you should have this deleted.
Yeah, but I didn't. But I saw a person that took away his actually.
You did?
On YouTube.
I wonder who that could be.
So I think that could be an option.
Yeah, more about later in the winter season. Anyway, again, protect your investment. Let's go back,
Go
Johan.
for the red ones.
If you have done a proper job with the GT4 and get a focused vehicle with PCCB brakes, then the assist system is not an option.
No.
Then you should just remove.
But I have nothing to protect them.
No, you haven't. You're actually 100% correct. But removing the PCM is a must if you have the PCB, and then you will not have the park assist.
But I don't think I would remove it even if I had those ones. I want to, fiddle with the, call. If you call me.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take that. Johan, we have talked about that. What is the most common thing when I call you when you drive your Carrera T? It's like, sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
But that's the true. About 100 kilometers in the Cayman T, don't call anyone.
Sometimes we drive slower than that.
Then you can use it. Yes, absolutely. On the GT3 that I had, it was down to 80 kilometers an hour, and this is a GT4. It will not be usable.
You think it's going to sound more than the current?
Absolutely.
We'll see about that.
We will see about that.
At least I ticked in the park assist.
Me too. Park assist it is.
I wish I didn't need to have those sensors.
Yeah, because the sensors doesn't look good, do they?
So that's why it should be an option with only the rear camera.
Yeah. And we should address the American market because they cannot delete the PCM because it is mandatory. Yeah. And I guess the law to have a rear camera. So they cannot protect their PCCB brake system by removing the PCM system, unfortunately. But there we are, comfort and assist systems. We are both heading for the park assist. We don't see any reason to have two systems. That's what we're saying.
No, I don't think so. No.
I mean, that's really two systems. One park assist and then add a camera. No. Let's. We both of us, as you can see, will have this heavy piece of equipment inside our cars.
Good. Interior packages.
Johan, this is gonna be a long chapter.
Yeah.
The interior is 3 pages.
Really?
Yeah, and if we'll look at it, we are not gonna get through each and every point, but let's highlight something. Let's start with the GT Sport steering wheel in leather.
In leather, yeah.
So you and I...
Did you tick it?
I did,
yeah.
Finally. Because you and I have been discussing, we all know that the Alcantara steering wheel do wear out more quickly than leather. We both agree on that, right? And we can actually see that your steering wheel needs a bit of love already after how many?
It needs a bit of clean up,
needs a clean up, and you know that it takes much more maintenance with Alcantara. We both agree on looks good.
And it's actually when you're driving with gloves and you active driving or competition or whatever, it's the best.
It is.
Yeah.
Racing gloves, Alcantara, that sticks. Yeah. No question about it. For me, leather looks much more elegant. I love leather steering wheels, so it's gonna feel so great to have that back. I have Alcantara in my Cayman T, very racy. Let's see how thick it is. I can sometimes feel that it's too thin with Alcantara.
You know, I wish there was an option when I purchased the Carrera T for leather steering wheel. Now when there's actually is an option, I'm not ticking it. I don't know.
But it is more a sporty focus with Alcantara. And in a GT4, I think it should be Alcantara.
And of course, I went for the Club Sport package.
Oh yeah,
Online.
you have an expensive.
Yeah, expensive, but it's focused.
Yeah, on the GT3 it's a non-option,
Yeah, I know.
non-cost
No.
option.
But I think it makes the car. It's a GT4 Club Sport, or it's just a GT4. I think it makes a bit two different cars. I think so.
Agreed.
So I think I want to have that. I think it's probably not going to get the money back on the investment, but still, it's changing it from a GT4 to a Club Sport.
Agreed.
So that's
100%.
what I want. So that was a no-brainer for me. And then climate control zone.
Yeah, Tucson. And you have I need to come back to the Club Sport.
Okay, sorry.
Because you have a 6-point harnesses on the
For
passenger
the passenger
side.
seat. Yeah. I ticked it, but it's probably going to be, dismounted.
If we're going to remove the passenger seats as an option, perhaps that is overdue.
So I don't know why I did it, but it's just...
It just looks good.
It looks good, but who's going to use it? I don't think that my girlfriend will.
To be honest, my son used it a lot on my GT3 because it was an experience for him to dress as a race driver. Exactly. So I couldn't say that I didn't use it, but I had never been on a racetrack where it's been used.
No, so. And you're not allowed to have passenger on the racetrack.
Not in Sweden, at least. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but in Sweden we are alone on tractors.
Yeah.
Climate 2-zone control
should be standard.
Yeah, why is that an option? You buy a $100,000 car, and you don't get a 2-zone climate control.
Yeah. And I don't think you save any weight about that. It's just
400 grams.
400 grams is nothing to talk about. So, but you were keen on not taking that.
I was, because I realized that with the 2-zone climate control, ladies and gentlemen, even then I will not be able to control the Swedish weather. It's a convertible. And we both agree on that convertible top should be down, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, why should I tick it?
Yeah.
But then again, I thought that, okay, let's just tick it. Because if I, for some reason, get into rainy weather, then obviously I need to put up the top or drive very fast. Then I don't want to, but because the problem, remember when I reviewed the 780 Cayman, the Miami Blue one, way back, I didn't have the 2-zone climate control, and I was going a long trip to Jönköping, about 300 kilometers away. The problem is that you don't notice until you are cold or warm. So you're not driving your car and say, well, I might be a little bit warmer, so I need to adjust it, because that's not how you work. You get to that point where you already are cold and hot. Yeah. So therefore, on the GT4 and Cayman, must option. On the Spyder, I just paid $800 or 800 euros for the rainy days when it's most likely going to be parked in my garage.
Yeah. And how about heated seats? Can you have them on our seats?
No, it should just be removed, remember?
Yeah.
Because the only way to get heated seats is in the regular bucket seats and in the standard 2 and 18 ways, and that should not be an option on our cars, so away with that.
But it could be nice if it was possible to have it.
Agreed.
Yeah, on our seats.
Yeah, and
if on a Spyder.
On a Spyder, on the GT4, doesn't matter, but on the Spyder, remember when I reviewed the Boxster T, I think we had 5 degrees. And did I drive with the top on and off? We went for a 2.5 hour drive, and I never pulled up the top. Just let me give you another advice. Put a proper hat on, something to protect your neck, and then put the heater on maximum, and you can drive to 0 degree and still have a good ride. Agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
I would love to have heated seats.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. Smoker package. I don't remember.
I didn't tick it. I don't think you did tick it.
I didn't tick it.
The only thing was that you could. I was thinking that you could charge the battery through it.
Yeah,
if
when
you
on
take
the
it,
winter,
but you
yeah.
cannot.
No.
Somehow, I don't know why, but you cannot. Floor mats.
Why do we have to take
I don't
floor
know.
mats?
I don't know.
And then I actually went for the net storing. Well, I'm not sure what it's called. It's a storing compartment made of a net on the passenger side, and I thought I should be a gentleman. If the lady have a small handbag or anything, it could be easily stored. I'm not sure which lady that would be. My wife never carries a handbag, but thank God for that.
You tick that, but it's just because it's zero.
Yeah, because I'm cheap.
Yeah.
And I want an extra storage.
I don't know if I don't remember. I don't think I ticked that.
Continue. Fire extinguisher, standard includes the package.
Club Sport, I think.
For my case, only 2 colors. The fire extinguisher is red, black and silver is my color. And then you have 100 options to color your interior. Seat belts.
Standard.
Me too, black. And then the instrument cluster we talked about. Why
crap.
is it gray in the GT4?
No. It's, it should be an option with black.
Exactly. Where is the
Where is
black
that?
option?
It's just red, yellow, silver, crayon, man blue.
Porsche, if you are listening, this is ridiculous. We want black steering wheel, we would like a black sport chrono, and black instrument cluster. How difficult could it be?
No.
Yeah.
That's it for
I think that's
interior. Huh?
And there we could, if we wanted, move forward and get some colored key as well. I actually had that on. Remember my red Panamera I had? It wasn't a red metallic. I'm not sure. Industrial.
You had the red one.
Sorry.
Did you have a red key then?
Yeah, I had it. It was painted in. So I like.
I don't know why, though.
And my Cayenne also. I had a white.
But
key
why?
I don't know. I thought it would look.
Do you drive faster?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, ridiculous. I actually spend money on that. Okay, let's move forward.
Great.
Johan, let's slaughter some cows. You know, we need a barbecue, a proper barbecue. And then obviously to make my Spyder elegant, we need some leather.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think I went all the way.
Yeah, that's good.
To start with, remember that I've already ticked the leather sport steering wheel, right? And I continue, you know, the dashboard trim stripes on the Spyder are colored as the car. So if you select white, it will be white. If you go gentle blue, it will be gentle blue. But I selected a leather interior package to make sure that that will be in leather as well. Because if you look at the 550, the interior is kind of one color, right? So I just wanted to follow through. Well, actually, if you think of it, it's only the seats because it's very Spartan, the 550. But I didn't want to mess the color. I just wanted the contrast, and I didn't want the interference. So that's the why. And I wanted to have leather. So I went for the leather interior package. But then I didn't go for the dashboard trim package in leather because I wanted the dashboard trim leather and Alcantara, because both, I think on a GT4, yes it is, underneath, you know, with the glove compartments, that's Alcantara, right? And on the seats it's Alcantara. And if you select the dashboard trim package, when you open the door, there is, you know, a side of the dashboard. And if you do select the leather package, there will be leather from the top down, but that's not the case, isn't it? The downside should be an Alcantara, and that's why I selected the dash trim package in leather and Alcantara. So that is just a detail, just to frame everything.
Saved half a cow there, maybe.
No, I think perhaps a tail in best case, or an ear of the cow. And then I just kept going, to be honest. But I did one thing that's one of the sales representative in Porsche Center Danderyd, Alma, really caught my eyes on something. She is very good in interior, and she notified me that the sun visor is very visible on the Spyder and the Boxers. You know, when they are folded up, since no roof, they are very visible. And I thank her a lot for that. And I didn't go with the leather there either. So now you're gonna hit me with the, you know, the everything that maintenance comes with Alcantara, etc. But she talked me through it, and I agree with her. If you look at the seats, they're Alcantara, and underneath is Alcantara. You need, you know, to go all the way the frame. So,
tie it together.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the sun visor is also in Alcantara. Otherwise, well, I didn't go for the climate controlling leather.
I never seen that on a car, I think.
Me neither, and I felt so sad for the cows, right? And I needed to stop at one point. And also I didn't get the sport seat plus backrest in leather because
you don't have those seats.
I don't have those seats, and nobody should have those seats on the Spyder. And I didn't go either with the seatbelt buckless because on the 918 bucket seat they're quite tight toward the carbon fiber. So in standard they're more or less wrapped in felt material. Cloth material to protect the carbon, so I didn't see the use of that at all. Perhaps you think I'm wrong in that position, but take a look at the 918 bucket seat. If you have the chance, you will see the cloth on it, so that would be standard. And the fuse box. Do you know if the fuse box are on the same place on the left and right hand?
No idea, actually. Which side is it here? Left side or?
Well, it's a driver's side, and in my world, that's on the left side.
Yeah.
So
but not in the UK.
If you are living in Great Britain or any other country where you drive on the right side on the road, which side is the fuse box on 718? But anyway,
so you're gonna have the standard plastic one.
That could be plasticky one. I'm not sure how I'm gonna live with myself with a fuse box.
I'm gonna point it out to you
exactly.
every time.
A fuse box cover that's not in leather, feel free. And the personalized formats, I didn't go for that either because
it's just the leather stitching around them, yeah?
Yeah, I have them on my Cayman T, and I just wanted a standard because they will have the Porsche logo in silver, and I wanted to connect to the colors I have. Remember, 2 colors only, ladies and gentlemen, black and silver. An indoor sill guard in leather. You know, the problem with that is that I saw a car you won at Porsche Center, and it was, you know, it's so easy to scratch it or when you're entering. It's an easy accident. And that was the case on the car I saw at Porsche Center. I thought, no, that's not something.
You don't want to have that.
No, exactly. So I
skip that.
That's gonna be a plastic one.
Oh my God.
We're gonna, I'm not sure how we're gonna live with ourselves in that case. And then I didn't select the vehicle documentation folder in leather.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I mean, why didn't I pay the 300 euro to get documentation folder in leather?
Yeah. If you would have gone for that and not the fuse box, then I would have been worried.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't take anything of this, I think.
Well, you shouldn't.
No.
Even though your car is not 100% focused, Johan.
I know.
Have you really thought this, bro? This is 17 kilos, my friend.
You should have gotten this in leather.
Yeah, that had been really nice. Red calipers with red leather calipers. That would have been something, wouldn't it? So I think we covered Alcantara and leather.
Really?
Let's move
Great.
forward.
Interior.
Johan, did you notice on the leather department that I was doing the talking?
Yeah.
And we are in the lightweight department now. With the
Should I do the talking? So I think I ticked everything, yeah? No, that's another page.
So did you tick
I didn't tick anything.
So when we are at the lightweight compartment, nothing?
But is this lighter than plastic?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
But
nevertheless, I can inform you that the brake calipers, the PCCB brakes, is much lighter than the standard.
Yeah. No, but to be serious, I was a bit tempted to take the interior package in carbon fiber.
I can actually understand that.
But I didn't.
No.
No.
Guess who take the carbon fiber department? No, but what I did is the door sill, when you open the door, I have made them individual in carbon fiber to match the carbon fiber bucket seat in my car. And guess what the text will say?
I don't know.
The art of driving.
Oh my God.
Oh, what a surprise, isn't it? So, you see...
So that's the only thing you ticked?
Yeah.
On the carbon fiber department?
Again, you remember the first spec I did with the cognac stitching?
Yeah.
I went totally bananas here, trying to compensate for all the weight with
for all
leather.
the cows.
But I figured that carbon fiber isn't the heritage of the 550, etc. So, I didn't do. No. But I wanted, it will look good with a sill guard when you open the door and you have the carbon fiber lidded with the art of driving, and you have the carbon fiber bucket seats. So
I can understand that.
So and that was the problem. The exclusive department, if you had viewed my Cayman T video when I optioned that car out, if you have, you will know that the exclusive department was closed on the time when I specified my Cayman T, and I couldn't get those in carbon fiber. So I have them in aluminium in my Cayman T. Ridiculous, if you ask me. Aluminium, did you tick anything?
Yeah, I actually did. Interior package in aluminium. I don't know the name of that.
Anthracite. Yeah.
Anthracite.
Yeah, the brushed aluminium.
Yeah, the brushed one. I just didn't like the looks of the
stripe
interior
there. Stripes.
Yeah. I think it disappears a bit in this.
I agree.
I was keen on taking leather, but then I don't have anything else that's leather, so why?
Johan,
yeah.
Stay focused with your car. Don't add any leather.
No.
It's what you should consider is the PCCP brake on your car.
Yeah. And
are you tired of these brakes now?
No. You can keep them.
Oh.
And nothing else. I think I take pedals in aluminium. No, I'm happy with the standard ones. It's just a waste, I think.
Nothing attracts in the aluminium department.
No. But this was just a color thing for me.
Agreed.
If it would have been some other material, I would taken it anyway, because I just wanted it to be more black.
I think you should, considering the carbon fiber, I think that would look even more awesome.
Yeah.
Let's continue to that.
Infotainment. This is where we shine. Okay.
Infotainment. Well, both of us have the PCM on.
Yeah.
Again, if you option out the PCCB brakes, just delete this and go further. Don't listen to what we are about to say. So, did you tick anything?
I did. I ticked Apple CarPlay.
Me too.
Yeah, the only thing.
The only reason I tipped Apple CarPlay is because I think that will just keep my car more in value, because there are people that actually appreciate that, and for 300 euros or
and that's actually the only thing I use in my car.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't use that in mine.
Don't you?
No, I don't. Well, actually, I don't have it in the Cayman T, but the 992 I had it and I didn't use it. But anyway, I know that many people appreciate it, and I will actually be able, if I need the navigation from my phone, it will be very much integrated.
And that one actually worked better when I drove down to Austria than the Porsche one.
Yeah, but the Porsche one sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry to say. Sorry, Porsche, but it does. And then actually I have an option that you don't have. Burmeister sound system. And then again, I cannot understand how you can throw money on the Bose and Burmeister sound system, because
you're not going to hear them.
You're not going to hear them. When I drove the 992 just the other week, top down, 100 kilometers an hour, and you have to raise the volume on your car so loud that it doesn't get comfortable to listen to. So again, I don't see how, and the standard stereo are and already on a very high level.
It's quite good. I think. I know that some people think it's rubbish, but I think it's quite good actually.
Extremely good.
Yeah,
And I just made a comparison. I'm not gonna, say that I measure it towards the Merc, but it is the same kilowatts, the standard stereo, as well an upgraded options in a Merc. So I would say that adding a Bose or a Burmeister is really pushing the edge limit. So sorry, not keen on that. Digital radio is something that we don't have in Sweden.
No.
I think that is the only option in US. Navigation, we have that in our phones. And then we have the last.
Delete.
Johan, should you get focused or not?
No. I want to have mine.
Anyway, I think again, protect your investments. You can follow the reputation. We are continuously repeating myself, but if you option up the PCCB brake, protect your investment by deleting the PCM. You're not going to hear it anyway in a GT4 Spyder. In the four-door saloons, always take the Bose sound system or Burmeister.
Great.
We're done.
So what did we end up with then?
A GT4 and Spyder.
One sheep and one cow.
One sheep and one cow. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We ended up in one cheap GT4, one of the heaviest, I believe. Remember, just follow his spec if you want the proper GT4. Add the PCM, add the PCCB brakes, delete the PCM,
one. And then you're
done. Then you have the perfect spec of a GT4. Below you will find Johan's spec, right?
Yeah.
And you will find my heavy, beautiful, elegant sport racer Spyder with slotted cows. Johan, we are two lucky bastards.
you're really lucky. Bastard.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I got a GT4.
No,
No,
Janko.
no.
I got a GT4
Yes.
and you got a...
Spyder.
Amazing.
Johan.
But you mean it's a GT4 Spyder you got?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the...
Chop off the roof.